Hey Jeff, how are you?
Hey, it's nice to meet you. I was trying to figure out if you were in the same room or not, but I see a little overlap on the arms, so I
Ah,
think you
dang it. We almost got
are.
you. We almost got you. Yeah, definitely we could move within each other
I'm
here.
going to snap away and disappear now.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Shabazz.
Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today, Jeff.
I appreciate you being interested. Thank you very much.
Oh, of course. Yeah, there's been such a lasting love for this series, all the way back from it being just a webtoon to now multiple movies. What has it meant for you to see these characters evolve over the last 20 years?
It's been a real privilege to be able to tell my stories across different generations and different mediums. I mean, this year we had a musical come out, an animated film come out. We just had a balloon in the Macy's Day Parade, and I had a new book, and it's wild to me. It's I don't take it for granted, and I hope it doesn't end.
Like you've been able to do animated films and live action versions of these beloved books. Do you have a preference in which medium you prefer to do more?
Yeah, it's this medium. I really like working in animation. I like being a screenwriter. When you write a screenplay, you're sort of writing at the speed of thought, and there's a structure and rules to it that's really understandable. So it's a lot easier for me to write for an animated screenplay than it is for me to write one of my books.
We both have siblings as well, and there's so much truth in these books and these films. Like, how much of it are you bringing from your own personal side?
A lot. I had a brother that was drummed in the basement and had a garage type band, and so I definitely drew off that as my original inspiration. And I think that these stories are universal in a way. Is that these are big themes: friendship, family, sibling relationships, and I think that that's what I'm really trying to do, is to tell a story that is universal, where kids can see themselves in the characters.
And I think you see that especially I know with my older sister, we were the bane of each other's existence, but we also knew that we had to band together as well when we wanted to get something or needed to get something done, right? Like there it's like that push and pull of that relationship.
There is, and it continues on into adulthood sometimes. So family relationships are complicated. You can easily tap into those feelings that you had when you were younger.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because I'd be remiss to not mention that my brother absolutely loves these books and he grew up on them. And so when I was taking him to the theater to go watch the first movie that came out, and then just constantly taking him over every year, the love that he kept seeing for these books, and then finding that relationship between us, because I was kind of felt like I was the Rodrick sometimes in our relationship, that it was cool to see that you were kind of speaking to us through that medium and just saying, you are brothers still at the end of the day, and you will love each other somehow. So thank you for
Yeah,
that.
and we dive pretty deep into that in this film. I think there's a kind of a powerful moment when Grandpa is talking, voiced by Ed Asner, and it's sort of unexpectedly impactful. Him expressing regret that his sons didn't stay close. So I think that it's really interesting to see that even in an animated film with these animated characters can speak the truth in a way that could actually change your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely can. You're inspiring this generation of readers, Jeff. Who were the authors that inspired you and got you into writing?
I like Judy Blume, who wrote realistic, funny stuff, where I could see myself in her characters. But I really liked Carl Barks, who wrote the Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge comics from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. That to me is the best. That's the best storytelling I ever encountered.
That's very true.
Absolutely.
That's very, very cool.
Something that really surprised us is when you see these books are adapted into film format. What have you ever maybe possibly considered maybe breaking it down to like a series? That way you can tell different stories, more developed stories. Because this movie, while it may not be too long, it still fills that time so well.
Thank you. I like doing this. I hope we can keep doing this for a long time, because the films, they feel impactful. What's really interesting is that a film, by the end of a film, you should feel like the world has changed.
Mhm.
And I think that you can really do that in this type of storytelling, where it feels more like a feature film than an episode of a TV show. And so I do think, maybe one day we'll do an animated series, but I really like the medium we're working in now.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I think there's like you said, there's such a universal just accessibility to these stories. So seeing that on screen is always wonderful. Yeah, I'm curious for you, Jeff, where you see these characters 10 years from now. Where do you see Greg and Rodrick 10 years from now? Do you ever plan on like telling those stories or exploring that, or what are you thinking?
I think one of the things that I've learned about cartoon characters is that we really expect them not to change. So hopefully 10 years from now, Greg and Rodrick will be exactly like they are now. We've seen the world change so much in the last 10, 20 years, especially in my country where things have become so polarized in the last 5, 6 years. I think that it's really important to have something that you can hold on to, something that's reliable. And that's what cartoon characters do in a really unique way.
I think it's fair that we go from having, a diary of a Wimpy Kid to eventually a podcast for Wimpy Kid. I think that's the next medium that you kind of have to get Greg and Rodrick into. I'm sure people would love listening to it as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's a radio's new frontier for me.
Yeah.
There you go. Jeff, thank you so much for your time today. It's so great to have this film out in the world, and I think it's going to be a huge hit on Disney Plus for everybody to check out. So thank you so much for your time again, and we cannot wait to see what you work on next.
I really appreciate that. Thanks for your great questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.